Hi everyone, I'm Denise Gray, your councilwoman for the 6th District. I'm wearing my trusty yellow raincoat because it is officially Kentucky's severe weather season. Actually, severe weather season began in March and lasts until June. I want to make sure you are prepared and know what to do in an emergency or in a disaster. I've invited John Bobel from Lexington Emergency Management to discuss Be Ready Lexington. Hi, John.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us today.
My pleasure. Can you tell me about Lexington Emergency Management and Be Ready Lexington?
Absolutely. Lexington Emergency Management is the division under the Department of Public Safety. Our mission is fivefold. Our mission is to make sure that we plan for all sorts of emergencies and disasters, and we provide coordination between not only city agencies, but other government agencies and other nonprofits and business, so that in case of an emergency, we can respond, we can recover, and ideally we get things back to normal as quickly as we can. So those are five really big points. We certainly want people to be prepared. Our BeReadyLexington.com website is a great way for people to learn about how to be prepared. We alert people to emergencies that we know of. One of the great services we offer is our Lex Alert system, where you can go to our website, you can sign up for just the alerts you want to get via text or email or a phone call, and we'll let you know when weather is getting particularly bad or there's another type of emergency that residents need to respond to. Then we also respond to emergencies. We provide a layer of response and coordination when the fire department may need some help, the police department may need some help, or it's just such a big event that there needs to be another layer of coordination and cooperation with other agencies. If it's a really big emergency. Then we help people recover from that. We coordinate if there are assets that need to be brought in. For example, the latest big windstorm, we did damage assessments. We're working with the state to file that paperwork, so if there is state or federal money available, that the city will get its fair share. Finally, what we do is we try to mitigate, that is lessen, the types of emergencies that exist in Fayette County and Lexington. A good example of mitigation is where there are particularly low-lying areas. I mean, everybody knows that there are places in Lexington that always flood. One of the things we have done is we assist other government agencies to buy those areas that are flood prone, and we'll turn them into parks or just green areas to eliminate the flood threat.
Wow, that is a lot that
it's a big job.
Yes, it is. So as I mentioned before, we're in the middle of the severe weather season. Is there anything residents should remember about preparing for emergencies or disasters?
Well, I mean, there are four major points to what we want people to do. The first and most important is we want people to be aware. We want them to have at least 2, preferably 3 ways of getting severe weather information. That can be through their phone, through phone apps, that can be through websites, that can be their favorite radio or TV station, but just check at least once or twice a day so that people know what's going on. If there is severe weather, that they're prepared for that. We want them to make an emergency plan. And on the Be Ready Lexington site, we have lots of information about how to put a plan together. Now, it's not anything you have to do all at once. You can start out just by making sure that you write down those phone numbers that are in your phone. Everybody's got a cell phone, but do you really know what those numbers are if your cell phone runs out of juice? I mean, everybody knows that you just hit the mom button or the grandma button or the pop button. But you need to write those numbers down. We want to make sure people have copies of important documents, legal documents, insurance papers, prescriptions. so that if they do have to leave their home and they do have to relocate for a time, they have those important documents with them. We want to make sure too that in that plan that they have an out-of-town contact so that they can let family and friends know that they're okay. A lot of times during emergencies, the cell phone networks get plugged up. You can't make a call, but you could always text your emergency contact, and it's just very simple. You call that phone number. It could be a cousin or an uncle or another family member who's out of town. You just text them and I'm okay. That lets them know that they can tell everybody else that you're okay. An emergency kit, that's vital. So that even for the person who is just by themselves, a single person, to a family, everybody needs an emergency kit with enough materials, food, water, and supplies to last at least 3 days. We prefer 7, just in case. I mean, the recent power outage, we saw what happens when the power goes out, and for many people in Lexington, the power was out for a week. We want to make sure that people have food that they can prepare without having to heat it on the stove. It's difficult, but not impossible. We want to make sure they've got 1 gallon of water per person per day, and that's easy to stock up. We want to make sure they've got a first aid kit. We want to make sure that they've taken lessons on how to give first aid. And certainly a flashlight, a no-weather radio, other materials, just so that you can self-sustain for that amount of time, just in case. Mm-hmm. Finally, what we want people to do is to get involved. There are lots of ways that they can get involved, from Red Cross first aid lessons to stop the bleed, learning how to do CPR, learning how to use an AED, all the way up to taking part in our community emergency response team. That's a series of 9 classes over 9 weeks where we teach people things like fire suppression. We teach people how to do basic search and rescue. We show people how to work as a team. And that's very important to be able to do if you want to go the next step. And certainly we don't want to leave our brothers in blue out, the Citizens Police Academy. They have a great program, and the Citizens Fire Academy. They have a great program too. But we want people to be involved. We want people to know how to take care of themselves. We want them to take care of their neighbors and take care of their neighborhood. That's the priority.
And I just heard you mention the Citizens Fire Academy and the Citizens Police Academy. I am glad to be a graduate of the Police Academy, and I'm a graduate of the Citizens Fire Academy. So
they do a great job. They do a great job providing information to residents here in Lexington and Fayette County. The training is terrific. I don't want to leave out our community emergency response team. Those 9 days of first aid and search and rescue, communications, teamwork, those are the units that we can rely on if we do have some sort of large disaster here. Say, for example, we have a tornado coming through here. The fire department, police department, they're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to go where the emergency is most significant, where people need the most help. Our CERT members have emergency response materials with them. That's part of what they get when they graduate. So they can deploy. Again, they want to make sure that they're safe, their families are safe, their neighbors are safe, but then they can deploy to the other streets in their neighborhood and help people who need help and provide necessary guidance, necessary assistance until the fire department, police department, or even the National Guard show up. So it's all about working together. Lexington has demonstrated time and time again that the residents want to help each other. They are not living on an island, and that people with a little bit of training are better capable of helping during an emergency or even just a minor inconvenience. We want people to be trained. We want people to be ready.
Right, we want them to definitely be ready. Do we have any special precautions for individuals where English is not their first language or persons who live with disabilities?
Well, for the non-English speaking residents, our website, bereadylexington.com, is translated into, I believe, the top 40 languages. So just by clicking on the website and picking the language that you are proficient in, we provide emergency information. We also have printed information, our flip charts, which are free and easy to get at our offices, or just call our main number at 859-280-8080 and make a request for a flip chart. We'll put one in the mail to you. We also have all sorts of other information for senior citizens, for people with physical and developmental disabilities. It all takes a little bit of extra planning, a little bit of things extra in your emergency kit, but we want to make sure that people understand that it's not a question of if there's going to be an emergency, it's a matter of when. And it could be something as minor as a little inconvenience, a power outage for an hour or two, or it could be a major inconvenience with a major weather event like we saw in Western Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky, where things are disrupted for a long, long time. We're ready for the challenge. We're ready to work with all of the other departments in government to resolve the issue, recover, and get things back to normal.
And just finally, if residents are passionate about emergency management, how can they get involved and help the community?
Well, we encourage people, first of all, not to self-deploy. I know that that kind of goes against things, but we want to make sure people are trained either with the Citizens Police Academy, the Fire Academy, or our own community emergency response team. Take a first aid class, take a stop the bleed class, learn how to do CPR, learn how to operate an AED. Those things are life-saving. And certainly, once you've taken some classes, follow the instructions of first responders on the scene. Typically, they know what they're doing, they can respond, but really the best thing people can do is to be aware, make a plan, have a kit, and be prepared for emergencies. It's all there on our website, bereadylexington.com.
Well, thank you, John, for your time, and I appreciate every single thing that you do and the Lexington Emergency Management do for every single one of us Lexingtonians.
If anybody has a question, they can certainly reach us by calling Lex Call 311 or 859-425-2255. We'll get back to them as soon as we can.
Wonderful. And to you, the residents of the 6th District, I want to say thank you for watching this council comment. And be ready, and see you soon.